Breaking news. News that is indeed breaking. Here's the thing. Donald Trump is going to tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear. But the action should show you everything. He basically stated that the U.S. rejected Netanyahu's request to join the war against Iran, which is true. But we do know some of them soldiers have eaten their last meal, which is the lobster and steak that chew shit, that's overcooked. Yeah. But the actions to me is showing that they don't want to go to war. The U.S. don't want to get involved, and if they do, it's going to be the last possible second so they can collect the win. They can show up and collect the win. How do I know that? Because he's already reaching out to Putin and trying to get Putin to talk to KK to see if that they can somehow both get them to work it out. So he not really trying to get in the field for real. He know America going to lose. He's fully aware. If America gets involved, we're going to lose. Why? Because our fighter jets were in coordination with the fighter jets that was coming from Israel, and those are the ones that got shot the fuck out the sky. Yeah. That was our best shit, y'all. That was our baddest heifers. You know how they say, bring your baddest heifers to the floor. You gonna send your best man. You gonna lose your best shooter. Those were our best fucking shooters. Hamas was already taking out our best shooters. Our mercenaries. Them was the black ops. They was getting taken the fuck out. Then they sent the fighter jet boys. The ones that's supposed to be bringing the rain. They tried to bring the rain and got caught up in a fucking thunderstorm. My God, today. Then the president, Isaac Herzog, gonna come out and say today was a very sad and difficult morning. I bet the fuck it was. Just imagine how the Palestinians feel. Imagine waking up and having to choose between life and death and food. And that has numerous universal meanings, because having to choose between life and death and food was them having to walk miles only to get to said aid and get shot at. Or how about before the aid even arrived, having to walk around for miles and still having to fear dying while they're looking through the rubble for potential food? Or how about them walking around and having to feed their children animal feed and turning that into bread? Or how about when they had to eat grass or had to eat animals that they had to make turtle soup? Talking about it's a very sad day when you ate today. Shut your ass up. Because the way Iran is shutting y'all the fuck up. Y'all on the motherfucking floor right now. This isn't supposed to happen to us. Why? Because you're white? That's why? Because you're white and racist and they raised you to think that you were better than everybody else? Only for you to get the harsh reality that not only are you not better than everybody else, but everybody else quite literally hates you because of the way that you treat people. This is supposed to happen to you. This right there is called the consequences of your actions. This right there is called the consequences of your actions. This right there is how you should have been held accountable. This is called accountability, baby. That's what accountability looks like in real time. And for the first time in the entire existence of your falsehood, you're being held accountable and can't necessarily compute or comprehend why it's happening to you. Why is it happening to me? Because you fucked around and now you're finding the fuck out. That's how that works. Meanwhile, Wig is out there after that failed ass parade day on his birthday. What a weak ass birthday that was. That shit was hilarious. His actual military day with his parade was trash. Like the lawn was more green than people. Yikes. Meanwhile, he's trying to save face and trying to recover PR wise by saying, oh yeah, it was more devastating for Iran than it was for Israel. Are we watching the same shit? I don't think we're watching the same shit, Bookie. He's still trying to save face. He said that what is going on right now may have sped up the potential for a peace treaty. He may have gotten them to do what he wanted them to do, which is to sign a peace treaty and to control the nuclear power that Iran has. Are we watching the same shit? Because I've been watching Iran and they basically looked you dead in your eyes and told you to shut the fuck up. That's because America, Germany, and who was it? America, Germany, and the UK basically, once Iran started bombing the shit out of them and started bombing the shit out of Haifa, by the time Iran kept going, and they used over 80 missiles last night, America and Germany gonna call themselves trying to get up and say something, and Iran basically looked them dead in their face and said, shut your bitch ass up before I drop you like I dropped his ass. You want some too? And they was like, no. I don't know what to tell you, Israel. May the odds ever be in your favor. I'll try to see what I can do. I was saying, you're so brave. You got this, girl. And to think they whining and crying, Israel, about what's happening in their backyard, which doesn't belong to them, by the way, but they are continuously destroying the Nasser hospital and the Nasser municipality as they announce a complete halt to their essential services starting tomorrow morning after the fuel supply needed to operate the water wells, sewage treatment plants, and waste collection and transportation vehicles ran out. They also, Israel, severely bombed the Nasser hospital several times as they were calling out for help and screaming, why me? It's because you earned it. You earned that ass whooping. You practically begged for it. It's just because. Iranian Energy Ministry stated that Israel targeted their water pipeline as well. So imagine targeting vital resources in not one, but several different areas. You targeted it in Yemen, you targeted it in Palestine, and you targeted it in Iran. And while Iran may have the means to get theirs back up and going, Palestine and Yemen, it may take a little longer. So yeah, this look back, it's going to have to hurt. You're going to have to learn something from this. You're going to have to learn something from this. Because while we're watching what's going on in Haifa and Tel Aviv, the Palestinians are still suffering. They're still suffering. They're still suffering every single day. As more strikes goes to the ambulances in Jabalia, the IOF demolished 2 schools, while a child in Khan Yunis was martyred due to starvation, and tents in the south were bombed. These are all things that have simply been happening in the last week as tensions continue to increase between Iran and Israel. So as long as this is going on, we don't have no sympathy for you, Buki. I don't know what to tell you. Granted, them boys, they out in the field and they handling shit for real. They bodying niggas. But in the meantime, that hasn't stopped Israel from upping the ante on the aggression on the Palestinians. So yeah, you gonna have to get that action. Because your people are doing that shit to the Palestinians, the Yemeni, and the Iranians. So yeah, you're gonna have to suffer too. That's just how it works. And let's not forget, y'all started this shit. Not only that, you were rooting for this to happen. And now you mad because the consequences of your actions are ringing your doorbell and they're showing up in your living room? It's crazy. Look, here comes the consequences of my actions chasing me right now. All I see is consequences of your actions chasing your ass down. Look, here comes the consequences of my actions chasing me right now. 80 ballistic missiles. And a lot of y'all are wondering, why are they using so many ballistic missiles? Why are they using so many missiles? Well, one, you started this shit. You don't get to decide what kind of heat they bring your way. You need to know when to get the fuck out of the kitchen. Let's start there. But 2, they're also causing damage to Iran. Let's not act like they're not causing damage to Iran, okay? It ain't nowhere near what Iran is doing to you, but there was some damage done to Iran. Let's look. Y'all gonna act like y'all ain't do this shit? Oh, what about this? And y'all started it. So you just gonna act like this shit didn't happen in Iran? Okay. So you're gonna really sit up here and act like you didn't do this to not only Iran, Yemen, Lebanon, and Gaza? Girl, say them mayonnaise tears, catch them in a jar, make sure you box them up real tight. Because we're going to need them to water the olive trees that's going to be planted in Palestine. We need it. We need them caucus tears. We need the mayonnaise tears to plant the future of the Middle East so that Palestine can continue, so that them olive trees could be ready when Palestine is free. Okay? Because y'all did a lot of damage to them olive trees. Y'all did a lot of damage to them farmlands. And we're going to need something to water it. Catch them mayonnaise tears in a jar. Bottle it up, case it up, send it straight to Palestine because they're gonna need it. They're gonna need it. And in the meantime, Iran basically said, if you see me in the jungle or in the woods fighting with a grizzly bear, help the bear because that bitch gonna need it.
Pakistan stands with Iran right now because they are brothers in a shared struggle against the Zionist entity. And if you don't believe me, take a listen to what Benjamin Netanyahu had to say years ago when he was planning all these wars that he's now carrying out. He said, "The greatest mission we have, Israel, is to prevent a militant Islamic regime from gaining nuclear weapons." Pakistan does have nuclear weapons, by the way. He said the first is called Iran. The second is called Pakistan. If these radical regimes have nuclear weapons, they will not obey the rules that have been obeyed by nuclear powers over the last 7 decades. Okay? This is why Pakistan understands what is at stake. Netanyahu has been very clear about it. The United States has been very clear about it. And that's why this week they're coming out and standing strong. Pakistan's defense minister said Israel is targeting Yemen, Iran, and Palestine. If the Islamic world doesn't unite now, we will all face the same fate. Pakistan stands with Iran. Silence is no longer an option. In an official message from the Pakistani leadership, they also said, "In this crisis, we will stand by Iran in every way possible. We will protect Iran's interests. Iranians are our brothers, and their pain and suffering is our shared pain." Now, one last point here. Netanyahu, in his statement years ago about Pakistan and how it's dangerous for them to have a nuclear weapon, he said that all these nuclear powers are obeying by the rules of international law. The only country that isn't, though, is Israel itself. Isn't that odd? Pakistan adheres to all the international law, but as you all know, Israel actually does have nuclear weapons. They probably have about 200 to 300. Some people say 500 nuclear weapons, but I think it's 200 to 300. Iran doesn't have any nuclear weapons, by the way. Has Israel signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty? No, they haven't. They have not signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Iran has, though. Did they break the Atmospheric Test Ban Treaty? Israel has done that. Iran has not done that. Does Israel allow for IAEA inspections? No, they do not. Iran, however, does allow for IAEA inspections. They don't even have nuclear weapons. Did Israel steal their nukes? Of course they did. Their own Mossad agents admit to it. They're very proud of it. Okay, some of these guys are Netanyahu's best friends still today, and this is a matter of public record. Iran, not applicable because they don't have them. Has either of these countries engaged in nuclear blackmail against the United States? Well, that answer is very easy to say. Israel, of course, has. Iran hasn't. Iran has never actually taken out any Americans, unlike Israel, who has. So I don't know why we are so obsessed with them and calling them our best friend when countries like Iran and Pakistan really are much better friends than Israel ever could dream of.